Hello everybody, this is Mr. Belk bringing you another pre-cal video. Fortunately, I'm all out of jokes, and I want to try to get all these examples done within a reasonable amount of time. So we're going to go ahead and just jump in. We're going to solve these trig equations. This is similar to something we've done in the last chapter, but as you'll see, it'll be just a little bit different. We're going to solve trig equations for all values. That's what we're going to do in this first example, and then I'll talk about how that's a little bit different than what you've been doing. But we're going to have to be solving these equations like you would regular equations, and then we're going to be using inverse tangents or inverse sine or cosine also to be solving these. This one we're going to use inverse tangent. All right, so we're going to treat tangent like a variable in this problem. What we're going to do is I'm going to subtract this tangent of x from both sides and combine it with this tangent of x over here. So 2 tangent of x minus this 1 tangent of x. That's going to give you positive 1 tangent of x, which I'm not going to write the 1. And then minus square root 3. And the right side we have 0, because those two things cancel out. Okay, and then what we're going to do is move the square root of 3 over. So we'll have tangent of x equals the positive square root of 3. And we need to go figure out where this happens at. The tangent, so we're going to, let's go figure out where this happens at. So the inverse tangent of square root 3, or of square root 3, you just got to figure out where tangent is square root of 3 at. Tangent's y over x. You want to find the x value and the y value that goes along with this. You got a couple of options. It's not going to be the 45 degrees because tangent 45 is 1. And then the one it is going to be is 60 degrees, and you can look at 30 degrees also. Those are your three options. Or if you look at the 90-degree increments, tangent's either tangent's either 0 or undefined there, so it's not going to be those either. So if you look at the 30 and 60 degree ones, those are the choices that you have. For this one, it's going to be 60 degrees because our y value at 60 degrees is square root 3 over 2. If you're looking at your unit circle, I got my unit circle here. So see at 60 degrees, the y value is square root 3 over 2, and the x value is 1/2. I'm just writing this out real quick to show you, because then when you do square root 3 over 2, multiply it by 2 over 1, and you cross those things out, you do get the square root of 3. So this is the coordinate. You want to figure out where that coordinate is. It's at 60 degrees. Okay. So there is our first answer. So that happens tangent. Oops. So far x is 60 degrees. That's one of the answers. If I can draw my 6, is 60 degrees, and like we saw last chapter when we were solving these, it happens in more than one place. So let's go see where the x value. Let's go see where the x and y value is this combination also. Another one that would give you positive square root of 3 is if you had negative root 3 over 2 for y and negative 1/2. So what that means is you can see the other quadrant where tangent is positive, which is in the fourth quadrant down here. So where does that coordinate happen? And it happens down here at 4 pi over 3 or 240 if you want to deal with degrees. So this happens at 240 degrees also. Okay. So what we're going to be doing, and see, it didn't give us a interval. That's what's a little bit different about what you've done in the past. Is typically we just found the answers in the interval from 0 to 2 pi, but because the tangent functions and the sine and cosine functions actually repeat themselves over and over and over again forever, what you can do is you can make an equation out of these answers because it wants us to find all of the values. So technically this is not all the values, this is only 2 of the values. And how would we write out an infinite number of values? Let's do that. You're going to have to write an equation, okay? So let's draw a graph really quick, the best I can, to explain a little bit. So this happens at 60 degrees up here in this quadrant and negative 240 degrees up here in this quadrant. So what you want to do to write your answers, and we'll be writing these things in radians. So x is going to be, you want to put down where you get your first answer at. So write that in radians. 60 degrees in radians is pi over 3. Again, you can be looking at your unit circle, and it's going to repeat itself. This answer is going to repeat itself every so often. So it's going to be pi over 3 plus k times, and then you want to go look at your unit circle, which is what we're doing now, and see how often it will repeat itself. Okay, and this is going to repeat itself every 180 degrees. So how many degrees does it take to get from 60 to 240? Well, it's 180 degrees. And then if you go around the circle again to whatever 240 plus 180 is, that would be a large number. It's going to repeat itself again and again and again and again and again. And that's just the way all of these functions work. So what you want to do is convert how often it repeats itself to radians, and 180 degrees is pi radians. And this is the equation for your final answer. Okay? So it's pi over 3 plus k times pi. What that means is this answer happens at pi over 3, and then it repeats itself again for every increment of k. So it could be pi over 3 plus pi over 3 plus 2 pi over 3 plus 3 pi. It will repeat itself, that often. Okay? So let's go look at, that will be the hard part of that. Finding the equation will be the hard part of what we're doing today. Let's go look at our next example, and you can breathe a sigh of relief because it says I want to find it on the interval of 0 to 2 pi. So what that means is this is going to have a finite number of answers, because if you looking at a unit circle, there's only so many places where this equation is going to be true. Okay, so what we're going to do is we're going to move for this example, we're going to move all these things to the same side. So let me start writing. So if you add this cosine squared x, so I'm going to add that to both sides. And when you do that, you're going to move it over here. It's going to be positive. So it'll be cosine to the 4th x plus cosine squared x. And then it'll be minus 2. And it equals 0. Okay. And now what we're going to do is, this is in the quadratic form, and we're going to factor it, and then we're going to have two different trig equations to solve. So you got to think about what numbers multiply to be -2 and add up to be +1. And I'm going to go ahead and write, so we'll have cosine squared x. It was cosine to the 4th, so when you factor this, it'll be cosine squared and cosine squared. Two numbers that multiply to be -2 and add to be 1, +1, are +2 and -1. So we'll have cosine squared x plus 2, and we'll have cosine squared x minus 1. And we're going to set both of those things equal to 0. So when you do cosine squared plus 2 equals 0, you will get, let me try to scroll this down a little bit. So where does cosine squared, what it's really asking is it is saying where is cosine squared, where does that equal -2? And if you take the square root of both sides there, you may see, so you're going to get the square root of a negative number, so we're not actually going to get any answers from that. Oops. Because that will give you, and I am running out of room, but this will give you cosine of x equals square root of -2. And that does not happen on any interval from 0 to 2 pi, because the square root of -2 is a complex number. It's imaginary or not real, okay? But we will get some answers from the other one, so we'll have cosine squared x equals 1. You move the 1 over, and then where is cosine? Well, oh, you got to take the square root first. Don't forget to take the square root first. And it doesn't change anything except for one important factor. So square root of 1 is plus or minus 1, which will add a few answers. If you don't do plus or minus, then you'll get some different answers, or you'll miss out an answer or two. Okay, but so where is the cosine of x, positive or -1? This happens at 0. Okay, cosine of 0 is 1. This happens at 180. Cosine of 180 is -1. Sorry, and then it happens again at 360. And it wants the interval 0 to 2 pi. So that's why you include the 0 and the 360, because they're technically the same angle. But if 0 and 2 pi are included in the interval, then you want to include those two in your answers. Okay, and then if you write this in radians, which it wants you to do, your answer is going to be 0, pi, 480, and 2 pi. And it told us the specific interval that it wanted us to do this on, so we don't need to write an equation for our answer. Okay, so let's go up and we're going to look at our next example. We're going to do secant of x equals tangent of x plus 1. So this one is a little bit different. What you want to do for this one is you're going to square both sides. Okay, so we're going to square both sides here. If I square it on the left-hand side, it will give me secant squared x. And if I square it on the right-hand side, I'm going to FOIL this with itself, so tangent of x plus 1. So doing that, you'll get tangent squared x. I'm going to skip a few steps. You'll get two tangents. Oops. You get two tangents in the middle because you'll have one tangent and one tangent. You add them together and you'll get two tangents. And then you'll have plus 1 on the end. Okay, and why are we doing that? We're doing that because in this, we're going to have a Pythagorean identity. We've got tangent squared plus 1. And if you remember that Pythagorean identity, again, bringing the stuff we've been doing this chapter into it, tangent squared plus 1 is secant squared. So I'm going to get secant squared x and cancel those two out, plus the 2 tangent x. And then you can subtract the 2 secant squareds from both sides and cancel them out. So what that's going to do is that is going to leave you with 0 equals 2 tangent x. And then you want to divide both sides by 2, which you can do. So 0 equals tangent x. So this is asking us, so where is tangent 0 at? So the tangent is going to be 0. So let me write this out. So tangent is going to be 0 at, it's going to be 0 when, since tangent is y over x, talk about this for just a second. You guys should know this stuff. This is going to be 0 whenever you have 0 on the top. And so look for places where the numerator is 0 and the denominator is 1 or negative 1. And that's going to happen at 0. Y value there is 0. It's going to happen at 180. And it's going to happen at 360. And then it's going to keep happening. So what we need to do is write our answer, draw our graph, and you want to look at how often this repeats itself. So your first answer is here at 0. Your next one is at 180. And the next one is at 360. So this is going to repeat itself every 180 degrees. So for your equation and your final answer, x equals, just write down what your first answer was. In this case, it was 0. And then you're going to add how often it repeats itself, which is 180 degrees. And in terms of radians, that's pi. So this is going to repeat itself every pi time. So just put k times pi for your final answer. So x equals 0. That is a solution for it. And you also have a solution every multiple of pi. So at 1 pi, 2 pi, 3 pi, 4 pi, those are all going to be solutions to that equation. Okay.